Hello, writers. How are you doing? So, this is your week writing assignment video explaining what we are doing this week. But first, I want to talk to you about something really important. Every good writer has to have a good pencil. You can use one of these mechanical pencils, or I love these kind, but I also love a good sharpened pencil ready to go. So you will need that. Now, I have provided for you papers that your parents have from Plus Portal. If they were not able to print them out, that is fine. You can look at them on the computer and use your own paper to do this week's writing assignment, okay? Also, on the page, the template that I created for you to do your writing for your story this week, you want to put the title on the top, and where it says by, that means written by you, so you want to put your name there, okay? So this week, I'm going to turn this a little bit so we can see this. This week, our story is an informational story, how to do something, okay? Now that is really important because you're going to teach. Your little story is going to teach somebody how to do something. So that's kind of fun. But let's look at the pointers of a good written informational story because it has certain things in it, okay? It tells us a made-up story. So you're going to tell a made-up story. It has characters and a setting where it takes place. Characters are the people in it. The setting is where it takes place. I know you students know that already. This is total review for you as a reminder. Now, these two new points are a little bit different for a story. Sometimes when we write a story, we can make up the whole thing. So it would be a fiction because we made it all up, right? Well, this one this week has a little bit of truth in it. So you will make up part of it, but this part right here follows a sequence of events is based on true facts. Something that is true. And then it will also, follows a sequence of events and gives the true facts and information, okay? So let me explain those two, then I'm going to give you an example. So a sequence of events is what happens first, next, the ending. Then the last one is it gives true facts. So for an example, but before I start, let me throw this in here. Any good story has to have a strong beginning, middle, and end. I know I mentioned that maybe before in prior videos, but it's important to remember that what makes a good story is you want to start off with something that is really catches the person's attention, wants them to read it, okay? Also, you want to have good material in the middle of the story and then a strong ending. So you have a beginning, middle, and ending. This week, we're also calling it the sequence of events. So the middle is classified as beginning. This is the middle. The first thing that happens, next, then the ending. So the sequence of events is called what happens first, next, and then the last thing that happens. So I stated it a little differently, but it's the same principle. You have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end to make a good, strong story. So those are what makes a good informational story. The reason it's called informational story is because you're giving people information, okay? You're providing information that helps somebody do something. That's why it's called how to do something. Now let me give you an example. A good example right now that might help you to understand it. Miss Van Gerwen wanted to brush her teeth one extra time, okay? So my story is about brushing my teeth. Real original, huh? We brush our teeth every day, right? So it's something we know. So Miss Van Gerwen went to her bathroom setting. I just told where I am. She took out her toothbrush. She took out her toothpaste. Then she squeezed the toothpaste onto her toothbrush. Then she turned the water on, ran the toothbrush under the water, Finally, she brushed her teeth. When she was done, her teeth were sparkly. So that's an example. I have another one I'm going to read to you that I have in the papers for you this week, a story I made up about the bike ride, okay? But I wanted to kind of give you an example. Now, another example I'm going to give you is, this little story is about Miss Van Gerwen wants to draw a picture for her story. So I'm going to title it The Special Picture. Real original there, huh? Well, I just had to come up with something quickly. The Special Picture by Miss Van Gerwen. One day, Miss Van Gerwen was missing her class very much. Look at that frown. So she decided to turn her frown into a smile and decided to draw a picture for her class. First, here I go. I did the intro, told you what's kind of happening there at the beginning. As a matter of fact, I could even say that I was sitting in my living room. Then I can do the setting, then I'm telling the setting. So now I'm going to go into the sequence of events. First, she took her pencil. Then she took her paper. Then she began to draw a beautiful picture. At the end, or you could say finally, because this is the last thing I'm going to do of the sequence, she took her markers, her special markers, and she colored the picture in. Now, Miss Van Gerwen had so much fun drawing her picture, she couldn't wait to show her class. And that's the story. So you see how I started with Miss Van Gerwen was missing her class. She wanted to do something to make herself happy and maybe make them happy too. So I had that intro for you. Then I went into the sequence of events. What happened first? Took out the pencil. What happened next? Then she took out the paper. What happened next? Next, she colored the page in and made it all beautiful. So you're telling the sequence of events and you're giving true facts because this really happened. It's true. This is what I did. So you're giving true facts. Just like the teeth, when I brushed my teeth story, that's true facts too because that is what we do. This is true. We take our toothbrush, we take the toothpaste, we squeeze the toothpaste onto the toothbrush, and we brush our teeth. So we're giving true facts, okay? So that is how we do an informational story. This week you're answering how to do something. Now, I have some other examples for you before I read a story that is in your papers that Miss Van Gerwen just wrote. It's a short story. Another example for you on how to do an informational story. But first, I have some examples here. You could write about how to play baseball, how to play football, how to play basketball, how to ride a bike, which is what I did. I'll show you here in a little bit. How to play tetherball. How many know how to do that? I see you out there. How to give my dog a bath. How to clean out your animal's cage. Some of you might have animals in a cage, and there's a process you do in cleaning out the cage. So you can write a really good informational story about that and show us how to do that, how to do something, how to clean out my animal's cage. Some more ideas could be how to take care of my cat. Some of you might have a cat. How to take care of my baby brother. How to help my baby brother or sister. How to help my mom in the kitchen. All kinds of ideas. How to build something with Legos. How to color a beautiful picture, like what I talked about. How to clean my room. By the way, have you been cleaning your room? How to brush my teeth, I gave an example of that, and how to bake cookies. Those are just some ideas for you, okay? Now, I'm going to read the story that I wrote in here as an example, and it's there for you to see as well, okay? I titled it The Bike Ride by Miss Van Gerwen. So remember, you're going to write that at the top. You're going to write your title and then by you. Now, sometimes you do not know your title until you start writing your story. That is perfectly okay. Don't worry about getting that title at the beginning. Write your story, look back at your story, and the title will pop out at you, okay? All right, so here's the story. It's called The Bike Ride. It was a gorgeous day when Natalie and Daniel decided to go on a bike ride at the park. There was just one problem. Daniel did not know how to ride a bike, but Natalie said she knew how, and she could help him. So she gave Daniel some pointers on how to ride a bike. Now, that first paragraph it's the made-up part of the story, right? Because they're going to go to the park. It tells the setting and the characters in that part, okay? Now we're going into the sequencing of events. Now we're going into what happens first, what happens next, what happens next, and what happens at the end about telling how to do something, okay? So, we left off where Daniel said she would give, Natalie said she'd give Daniel some pointers. So here's the last part of the story. First, you put your helmet on. Then get on the bike and make sure your feet can touch the ground. This will help you stop safely if you need to. Then you put your hands on the handlebars. Next, you put your feet on the pedals. Finally, push hard on the pedals and take off. Daniel was very excited to follow Natalie's instructions on how to ride a bike. They had a fun day at the park riding their bikes. So there you have it. I gave you an example on, you can even look at that if you need help with how to write your story. The template's there, meaning the papers are there, telling you how, with the lines and everything, for your story to write, for you to write your story, or you can just use your own paper if you would like. When you are done writing your story, on Thursday you write the draft, meaning it's the practice one. Friday, you're going to write your final one. When you're done writing your final one, have your parents take a picture and send it to your teacher so they can see what you wrote for the informational story, how to do something. Have fun this week. And remember, good writers have a pencil in hand and you use your imagination. You are creating this story this week. The only thing that is real, based on facts, is in the middle of it, the sequence of the story, okay? Have fun. I hope this helps you a lot. Look at all the paperwork that I sent. It's only about a few pages. That will help you as well. And the most important thing is have fun writing. All right, take care. This is Miss Van Gerwen checking out.